How to survive the coming Great Depression. Hey everybody, it's Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. People have talked about this a little bit. We've seen a lot of signs, a lot of things going on. We've seen shortages, inflation, lots of tells, as well as the status of our economy, our national debt, all the stuff going on in the world. Lots going on, right? So I want to talk about how we can best prepare ourselves to survive a long-term event like another Great Depression. Some of it we need to go back to the first Great Depression and look at how some people survived that. Take something away from that. Now, times are totally different now, though. Back then, we were a lot more of a agrarian society and a manufacturing society. We had lots of manufacturing jobs, lots of farm jobs. A lot more people also back then had family gardens. World War II became a victory garden, etc. Back when the government used to actually encourage people to try to help themselves instead of not, to put it gently. I got to remember this is YouTube, got to watch what I say here. So what are some things that we can do to prepare ourselves to survive a long-term event like a Great Depression? Well, we talk a lot about food storage, water storage, and stuff like that. Great, that is great, but what's the weakness in that? The primary weakness in that is that once you start opening up those buckets, those containers, those bags, whatever it may be, you start that stopwatch on your life. If you have 6 months of food, well, then you're going to die in 6 months. Unless you have a way to replenish it. That's one of the most important factors that I think a lot of preppers skim over. Those skill sets, because why? They take time and effort instead of just going on Amazon and ordering a bunch of stuff. Hey, it's better to be an Amazon prepper than not be a prepper at all. Not knocking it. At least some people, that's all they can do. Okay, well, not necessarily true. You can always learn and gain skills. Even if you aren't physically or whatever capable of going out there and doing those things, if you have the knowledge, then you can pass on that knowledge to somebody else at a later date. But weeds, let me see. Just a sec, I'm going to go get a weed and from right over there and show you guys how a lot of people survived the Great Depression. Actually, I'll just do it on camera. Why not? I'm just going to walk over here. This is growing all over my yard. This used to be the bane of my existence, gardening and trying to keep my pathways clear and stuff like that, because there's a really deep taproot and you go to pull it out, it's not coming. You got to dig it out. What is it? There's a closer look at it. That is dock. It is edible. It tastes like crap, but it'll keep you alive. It kept a lot of people alive during the Great Depression. Here, I'll eat a little piece to show you. The newer leaves, like this one's sort of newer, but the new growth isn't as bitter as the older growth. This is a little bit older, so yeah, it's bitter, but it's edible. I would much prefer to eat things that I enjoy, but having skill sets and knowing how to identify wild edibles is very important. Along with that, the foraging aspect, identifying wild edibles that grow in your area. There are lots. No matter what area you're in, there's probably quite a few wild edibles out there that you can learn about, start going and gathering, practicing, checking them out, making sure they're all good, that you're identifying properly. Gain all those skill sets now. Another factor that goes along, I kind of put in the same category with foraging, because you have to go out somewhere and do it, would be the hunting. Large game, small game, fowl, birds, all those kind of things. A lot of animals out there, but as they saw in the Great Depression, deer were almost annihilated in the United States. So people are going to go after large game first, then after small game. As they're starving, they'll eat anything, even rats and mice. I would prefer not to get to that point though. So that's why learning these skills is very important and having this knowledge. So what also goes along with that? First off, and there's a variety of ways to hunt. You guys probably already know what they are. You got modern pews, you have older school like black powder, you have compound bows, you can do recurve bows, crossbows, shoot, even a spear, or maybe even a slingshot. If you're really good at it and it's high power enough and you can get close enough, maybe. But there's also another way to do it that doesn't take as much of your time and effort as far as going out there and sitting there and being involved the whole time. What is that? Probably already guessed. Trapping and snaring. Great thing to get into, to start practicing and learning how to do. Watching videos, getting books, getting supplies, practicing with them, stuff like that. Just make sure you're following your local laws. You don't want to end up in jail. You don't want to be in jail when SHTF happens or the world falls apart, because then you're like SOL. So yeah, you don't want that. So make sure you're smart about it. Another aspect I talk about often, I believe my last video was showing it, is the garden. Gardening, like I mentioned before. A lot of people back during the Great Depression had family gardens because we were closer to being an agrarian society back then than we are now. Now, with the on-demand supply system and everything, we just go to the grocery store. A lot of people, they don't even have food in their fridge. They don't even really have but maybe a day or two of food in their fridge. They go to the store every single day, buy what they need for that day or the next day. I don't know how people do that. Free will, I respect their free will and their choices they make. They have to live with the consequences. And they have no food storage. My ancestors, my grandparents, always had a root cellar, basement, something like that in their house. And in there was a lot of canned goods that my grandmother canned from her garden. Home canning. Great way of doing it. They also canned meals, like she'd make up like spaghetti, and instead of, sometimes what I do is I'll throw the excess in a big Ziploc bag, throw it in the freezer, if I know I'm going to be using it fairly soon. Or what you can do is whatever it is you make, you can. Just learn about what is all in the ingredients, and make sure you're doing the canning process properly. But you can can meals. It's where you just open up the jar, pour it out, heat it up, or just eat it cold. Bam, you're good to go. Okay, so gardening, growing your own food. Along with that, raising your own animals. We currently don't do that yet. One of our weaknesses, one of the things I'd like to do, I just haven't done it yet. I'd like to get chickens. But that neighbor has chickens, that neighbor has chickens, 2 people down have chickens, 2 people down have chickens, over there have chickens. All my people, all my tribe have at least chickens. Most of them have ducks, turkeys, pheasants, also, as well as either goats or sheep or even cows. So there's a lot available. Some people raise pigs also. I got a lot of connections in my tribe and in my local vicinity for the animal products. So, but it would be good if I did it myself. So growing your own food is vitally important. Now, people say, well, the government's just going to come take what you have. That may be true. That's why you don't keep all your eggs in one basket. You don't keep all your food storage at your house or on your property even, unless it's cached and buried or hidden or something like that. You spread it out. Will they come for gardens? Maybe. But there's so many maybes out there. There's so many what ifs. There's so many possibilities. Come on, you cannot do everything. You can't mitigate every single possibility. All you can do is the best you can do. Okay, so to paraphrase this video, I want to get down to brass tacks and paraphrase what I feel are the most important parts. The most important parts: learn to identify wild edibles and forage. in your location. Hunt, trap, snare, as well as, I didn't mention before, fish. Depending on where you are, great source of food, or shellfish, or any kind of seafood. Great sources. Gardening, raising your own animals, those kind of things. Those are what will maintain or will give you, allow you to be successful long term. We need to look down the road, not be short-sighted. We don't want to just see what's in front of us. We want to look what's here, what's here, what's here, and think down there. We all won't survive if something big happens. All we can do is the best we can, prepare ourselves, prepare our families, build our tribes, stockpile our food, grow our gardens, raise our animals, and just do the best we can. If we're going to die, we're going to die. I'm okay with him. Him and I have an understanding. As far as I feel, I'm doing my part. So even if I die, well, I'll just go to a better place. The main reason why I want to be here is I want to be able to take care and protect, defend, and provide for my family. But anyway, I love you guys. Please subscribe, hit that thumbs up, share the videos, comment below, all the things. Have a wonderful day, and blessings to you and yours.